Association of Coaching. Home of the coaching masteries.
Welcome. Welcome to this global event of the International Association of Coaching, our monthly, I'll repeat right now. Welcome to this global event of the International Association of Coaching, our monthly Learning Circle. Para nuestros amigos de habla hispana, les recuerdo que pueden acceder a la interpretación simultánea a través del globito que nos presenta el Zoom en la base de la pantalla. English-speaking people, we are having this event in English, and if you need to understand something that we speak in Spanish, we have interpretation at the bottom of the screen. Okay. It's a great honor for me as a leader of the chapter of the United States of America to host this event, presenting a topic that I'm passionate about, coaching as a support in family health. Great topic. I'd like to introduce you our coordinator, Renee Edgill-Smith, who will present our speakers. Renee is a life coach, educator, administrator, sign language interpreter, and a woman with a lot of energy. Please welcome Renee Edgill-Smith.
Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am Renee, and it is my honor to coordinate our speakers for today. It is such an honor, and I don't want to belabor anymore, but I will say to you first, let me reiterate what Leo has said. If you need interpretation of what is being said, please select the interpretation icon at the bottom of your screen, and you can select there, click on the language in which you need to hear this learning circle. That's so important because we don't want you to miss any of the important information that is going to be shared with you here today. So let me take the honor of introducing Daniela Torres. Daniela is a certified family coach. She specializes in coaching women to recreate themselves from codependency to empowered independence. Her topic is Superwoman No More, the importance of women's emotional health and its impact on family emotional health. Daniela, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Renee. I'm very, very excited to be here today and sharing this presentation with all of you. And I want to start with this question. How much more can I take before I break? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Well, I did. I did ask myself that question far past my breaking moment. And if I'm honest with you today, I couldn't have done anything different. You know why? Because I didn't know better. The woman that is speaking to you today, that is able to help women redesign a life they're actually excited to waking up to every day, is not even close to the woman I was 4 years ago. I was trapped in an identity that wasn't designed by me. I was lost in the businesswoman, the happy person, society standards, family expectations, and with an undeniable amount of stress for pretending I liked a life based on what others wanted of me instead of what I really wanted for myself. So how do I get to this point? How do I get there? Because everything was falling apart. My marriage, my job, things that I liked, I stopped enjoying. Even waking up in the morning was a hard task. And if I think a little farther, when we look at the overall mindset of the Western world, we see a competitive world where sweat, pain, and discomfort are required in order to grow. And in a mostly masculine-dominated society, women didn't have more options but adapt to the expected behavior, to be the caregivers, to be the housekeepers, the nurturers and protectors of the home, to birth children, to be the wife, the man's helper, usually undervalued and underestimated. But the generation has changed, right? Women have created opportunities for themselves that weren't there before. So instead of being in the family, she's outside the house, making room for herself. Industries dominated by men are now impacted by women in leadership roles. Where we only saw men, now we see women too. Government roles, presidencies, corporate leaderships, 500 Fortune companies, entrepreneurial roles, labor jobs. Women are leading, and we have seen an amazing shift in the world. Now, there are legislations created that support women equality. But you know what? It's not enough when social expectations haven't changed. At what cost? See, today we have more and more opportunities to be who they're meant to be. But in the meantime, the world said, sure, be all you want to be, but do not stop being what we expect you to be. So at the cost of the emotional health and the well-being of women? And how is that impacting the well-being of their families? Let's look at this. Stressed individuals are more at risk of developing depression, psychosis, somatic complaints, and life-threatening conditions such as heart attack, cancer, and organ failure. It is clear that stress is taking a toll in women's health. And as a consequence, families are being affected by it. 90% of the primary care diagnoses are more common in women than men. And can we prevent it? We sure can. Before we hit the breaking point, there are signs, but we most of the time overlook them. When they appear, we have two options. We can process our emotions and manage the situation by understanding the options and the choices that we have. Or we can keep doing like nothing is happening and pretend that nothing is happening. What do you think we do? Yes, the second one. We keep going and we keep going. After pretending for so long, we get used to, accustomed to the thoughts, the unprocessed pain, the stress that we carry. And I want to bring the perfect example of how I, in my opinion, perceive society sees us. Whatever they throwing at us, we keep fighting. We learn to fight and we like it. We learn to be in a constant state of defending ourselves through everything the world throws at us. The thing about being in this defending state of mind is that at some point, we need to stop just to defend ourselves. And the funny thing about all this is that we're expected to look good while we do it. So we put on this superwoman costume, not because it's easier, but because we learned to do it. In this state of, or in this costume, women is in what I call a red mind. She perceived herself as a victim. The situations, the world is against me, or it's someone else's fault. Her body is contracted, is tense. It gets harder and harder to breathe. Expressions such as, I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling exhausted, I feel anxiety, I feel the pressure of the group.
Ya, podemos
They
ser
feel
nosotros también,
confused.
pero también la idea es invitar a otras personas
Make
de
sure,
la IAC que puedan en el fondo
phone
tener otros
your
estilos y que
microphone
ellos
is
vean
off.
otros estilos.
All the microphones are
Ya.
off, please.
Entonces, esto es lo que yo armé, esto es lo que hablamos la semana pasada.
There is someone microphone on. Okay. So in this red mind, woman is confused. Usually she feels disorganized. She feels that nothing is working and she doesn't have no options. Her thought pattern is, I don't have options. This is what I got. This is what I want to work with. This is my destiny. This is what my parents gave me. This is the place I was born. I got no options. So how do you move from one state, the red mind, to the green mind? A green mind where she's out of that costume, where she's in the driver's seat of her life. She knows she can take control of her actions. It's her responsibility, her thoughts, and her belief. She feels more relaxed, more aware of what's going on. She has this expansive posture. She's able to breathe. She feels engaged, positive, energized. And she feels that she's working in something bigger than herself. The feeling of clarity is there. And the thought pattern is, I always have a choice. And I'm open for change without judgment. So how do you take your client from one state to another, from the red mind to the green mind? You start with yourself. I remember I started by embracing who I was in my present moment. Back in 2018, when I asked myself, who am I? I didn't have any idea. You see, this mastery is so important because in order to know what I want, I must not know who I am, know who I was, or not who I want to be, no, who I am today. In that moment, I was so used to being inside that costume that I lost myself in it. So I had to start with the simplest things, such as coffee in the morning. I remember being used to drinking café con leche. That morning I woke up and I was like, I don't really like café con leche anymore. It's coffee and cream, Spanish way. But I still drink it. You know, my spouse made it with so much love until it started making me sick. Until I became intolerant to dairy. The reality is that I liked it black, but I couldn't face that I've changed. So in that moment, I began to establish and maintain a relationship of trust with myself this time. Mastery number one. This mastery, in my opinion, is one of the most important and sometimes overlooked. Because in order to start a relationship of trust with your client, you must start a relationship of trust with yourself. Only then you will see past your own costume, past your spouse, friends, and client. So, how do I take off my superwoman costume? Maybe you can start by asking yourself, what beliefs about myself need to change in order to have a better relationship with myself? When do I recognize my strength and how they support my overall well-being? How can I encourage and empower myself and others? See, I've heard this saying before. The strength of a character isn't always about how much you can handle before you break. It's also about how much you can handle after you've been broken. And I want to say today, the strength of a character isn't about how much you can handle before you break or after you're broken, but in the ability to say, no, this is enough. I don't need to break to change. Superpower woman, no more. Thank you.
Woohoo.
Thank you, Daniela. Thank you for your inspiring presentation. Daniela has encouraged us as coaches to consider removing our daily costumes, reflecting on our relationship we have with ourselves, and to be true to who we are today to become more for our clients and for tomorrow. So thank you very much for that presentation. I would like to now take the time to introduce life coach, Josephine Tending. She comes from us from Bear, Delaware, by way of Cameroon and Senegal, West Africa. A life coach specializing in transactional analysis and neuro-linguistic planning. She is a director of Peaceful Consulting USA. So today she will be presenting to us the influence. She'll be presenting to us an awareness, the beginning of family mental health. So Josephine, I turn things over to you.
Thank you, Renee. Hello, everyone. I am actually going to focus on awareness, yes, as the beginning of healthy family relationship. I'm sorry, I sent the information a bit late to you. And so that's why it was probably, I made a few mistakes on the email. So awareness as the beginning of healthy family relationship. As soon as we are born, the people who welcome us on this earth, they mold us, they domesticate us. So we learn from them how to live in society, what is good, what is bad, what is beautiful, what is ugly, what is right or what is wrong. Our caretakers become our role models, and it is from them and other members of our families that we first learn how to become and how to form relationships of our own. If we experience positive relationships in our own family as children, then we felt secured and loved. We enjoyed each other. We shared quality time together and values. We worked as a team. We helped and we listened to one another. And those things gave us later on the necessary skills to build healthy relationships of our own. But what if our parents did not have those skills? They did not share quality time together, did not love and support the members of the family, did not display affection, appreciate each other, or communicate in a healthy, nonviolent manner, then it would be difficult for us to develop healthy, positive skills to, help to possess actually healthy skills, the right skills to build and develop healthy relationships. First, we have to become aware that we do not possess the right skills. Second, that it is possible to develop those skills. And third, how to learn and apply those skills. The key words here being becoming aware. Awareness is the key. I believe that it all starts with self-awareness. Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. It starts with me. If I cannot look at myself in the mirror and reflect, then I haven't done the essential work to even start building healthy family relationships, or dare I say, any other relationship. So now I'm going to share with you a little bit of my personal journey of self-discovery. The process can be painful, mine was, but it was worth it since it led me to personal growth and fulfillment. Allow me to pause here and tell you a few of the things that I have found out on my journey. I found out that I was a deeply wounded person, that I was blaming my parents, my husband, and even my children for my own unhappiness. I found out that I was a procrastinator. I did not know how to control my emotion, that I was too critical and judgmental, easily offended. I did not know how to speak, nor did I know how to listen. That was serious. It was a serious problem for me. We know how important communication is in our human relations, but especially in marriage and family life. One day, my 20 years old told me that all she remembers growing up was me either yelling or crying. because I realized that being aware, why am I mentioning this? I realized that being aware was good, but not good enough. I had to figure out how to change what was not serving me. And that is precisely what coaching helped me do. But let's get back to my story. When I was 12, we left to France to return to Senegal with my family. That's when I became the difficult child in the family. Not that I had bad behaviors, bad grades in school, or that I was rude, but because I did not fit the family mold carefully crafted by my mother and her mother before her. I had too many doubts on the Catholic faith. You have to know that grandmother was an orphan and raised by French nuns, and grandfather was the son of the first catechist in the region. I also had too many objections about traditions and custom that I did not understand. And I asked too many questions when I did not agree. And if you were from Africa, a child in Africa, you knew better than to question your
¿Qué pasó?
The slap that would ring on your
¿Qué
ear
pasó?
would be your
No sé.
"because I said so" answer. I learned then to keep those thoughts to myself when I was around my mom, to avoid being yelled at or whipped. I felt as if I did not have the right to be me, my own person, to express my opinions freely. I never felt I was good enough or worthy to be loved. Don't get me wrong, my parents did love me. They were just not very good at showing it, and I just felt miserable. I knew that I would never make my children feel the same way. But that's exactly what I did. Somehow, I reproduced a lot of the same behaviors that I had hated as a child. I yelled, I barely listened, I blamed, I accused, I gave orders, I criticized, the list goes on. As I grew older, I started noticing the effect I had on boys. But since I could not trust them not to hurt me, I would hurt them first before they had a chance. Then I met Mr. B, who became my husband. He was 23 and I 22. I married the man I was in love with since I was 16 years old. We had a beautiful daughter. I was going to go live with him in Paris and leave this country where I never felt I belonged. It was a dream come true. I was going to be happy at last. If his cute, intelligent, classy, funny self loves me, then I must be worthy, I thought. But the dream quickly turned into a nightmare. And for many years of our marriage, we were not happy. We fought a lot, and I was always blamed for the way I spoke, and that made me angry. You hurt me and expect me to be nice? Can't you see it's your fault I'm angry? Of course, he could not. He refused to talk through our issues and used sarcasm to respond or just walked away. I didn't know it then, but we were not communicating at all. We were trying to win the argument, each argument, to be right. We did not listen to understand. We listened to respond, if we listened at all. We were unknowingly activating unmet needs from our childhood and creating conflict we never solved. It was like living in a war zone. But do not worry, my story ends well. After a sabbatical year in Senegal, searching for truth, spiritual growth, silent retreat, prayer, and introspection, I returned to America, hopeful, less angry, and more aware of my own faults and my sins. But it was still hard to find joy. We shared the same house, but lived separate lives. And I felt invisible, like a piece of furniture. I felt guilty for failing as a spouse, as a mother, as a person. My life was on hold. I lived in my own bubble. I went to work at Amazon just to get out of the house and support my mother back home. I tried to look to the future, but it scared me. The worst was to witness the pain my children were going through and not having the tools to help them. Fortunately for me, faith will bring coaching into my life. And it finished the task that spirituality was not able to complete. That's when I really started to better understand human behavior, when I dived deeper into personal development, and when I was able to take responsibility for the choices I have made and for the future that I wanted. I was able to greatly improve communication with my husband, with my children, and with other people in my life. When I was being coached myself for the first time, I was relieved because I did not sense any judgment in the words of or attitude of my coach. He really listened to me. I felt not only understood, but empowered. I found out through that process that I had capacities and all the potential I needed to make good choices for myself and to live the life I wanted to live. Before coaching, I found hope in the fact that my Creator loved me, that He will surely not let me die, that He had a plan for my life. And so even if I didn't know how, I would be all right. I would survive. But after coaching, I not only had hope, but I knew that I can be whole, happy, abundant, successful. I can change my life and be the mother, the partner, the daughter, the sister, the friend, the colleague, the coach that is able to create and maintain healthy relationships and inspire others to do the same. I know I can strive. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Josephine.
Thank you.
Wow, what can we say? Thank you so much for your presentation, Josephine. We're being asked by Josephine to self-reflect and think about our roles and how it affects our relationships. And we've been asked by Daniela to take off our costumes and be aware. And I hope the presentations are speaking to your hearts as they are mine. But just a minute, we're not done yet. So regroup, get everything together, make your notes, and get ready, because our next presenter, Christina Benite, is coming for us. She is a psychologist, a writer. She specializes in neuro-linguistic planning and theta healing. She is the founder of Contigo. Her presentation, The Influence of Coaching and Formal Education in Family Mental Health, Educational Perspectives, looking at education through the lens of the 9 masteries. I'm excited, and I hope you are too, and ready to get more good stuff. Christina, have at it.
I'd like to remember Christina will speak Spanish, and whoever needs to get the translations, please go to at the bottom of the screen. There is a button of translator. Please. Welcome, Christina. Thank you.
Hello, how are you doing? I'm really happy today for this opportunity. First, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to express my message in Spanish. That speaks of our diversity and multiculturalism. However, I promise the next time will be in English. I know that we don't get a second chance to make a good first impression. That's why today I want to taste my words in my rich mother language. Thanks to the wonderful speaker that preceded me, and thanks to all for following here. I want to share my presentation. Okay. Okay, did you see my presentation?
Yeah, perfectly.
Yes, okay.
Sorry.
Okay, my presentation is about some education perspective, perspectivas educativas, okay? Okay, hold on a second, please.
Dale clic en la pantalla para que puedas cambiar.
Okay. Okay. I have some technical issues.
Excuse me,
Okay.
Cristina, ¿le puedes dar clic a tu flecha a la derecha en tu teclado? Flecha a la derecha en tu teclado. Y ahí te debe pasar, ¿vale?
Okay. Okay.
O dejas de compartir y vuelves a intentar. Vale, gracias.
Okay.
Thank you.
Quiero cambiar el idioma. Estoy escuchando la traducción y la quiero parar y no encuentro en dónde. ¿Tú puedes hacerlo por mí?
Cristina, hola.
Ajá.
Vete
Betsy.
abajo en interpretación, a la orden,
Sí,
vete abajo en
sí.
interpretación y silencia el audio absolutamente. Así
Ok.
ya no vas a escuchar a la intérprete hablar. Donde hay un mundo, un icono abajo en la barra inferior. Listo, gracias.
I got it. Thank you. Okay. Share. Perfect. Ok. 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 Lo primero que yo quiero compartir con ustedes es que si queremos una educación de primera, los maestros no solo deberían, sino que tienen que ser los mejores entrenados. Yo me imagino que ustedes comparten esta idea conmigo. Y el legado de nuestro gran Thomas Leonard arde cada día con más fervor. No solo porque sus maestrías son útiles para nosotros los coaches, sino que también a todos puede ser útil para todos los oficios, tanto psicólogos como los maestros, que es mi planteamiento hoy en día. Son una gran herramienta para múltiples profesiones. ¿Qué tal que pudiéramos hacer que todos los maestros pudieran tener las habilidades de nuestras 9 maravillosas maestrías? ¿Ustedes se imaginan cómo sería esta educación? Yo pienso que sería totalmente distinta. Allí está, todos los coaches no tienen que ser maestros, pero sí es cierto que los maestros de hoy en día deberían desarrollar nuevas habilidades. Y ese es el primer planteamiento que vengo a hacerles, porque la verdad es que nuestras 9 maestrías se pueden aplicar a todos los oficios. Y yo quiero hacer un recorrido porque sé que tenemos muchos invitados que no conocen nuestras 9 maravillosas maestrías de la IAC y quiero adaptarlas al ámbito educativo, que es algo que me apasiona mucho, no solo como psicóloga, sino especialmente como madre, porque veo con gran preocupación las carencias de la educación de hoy en día. Y cuando empezamos a recorrer las maestrías, encontramos la maestría número 1, que es una belleza de maestría, establecer y mantener una relación de confianza. Pero ¿qué es lo que necesitamos? Maestros que estén dispuestos a no, perdón, perdí la presentación. ¿La tienen? Oh, ¿se perdió?
Sí, vuélvela a poner, por favor.
Oh, ok.
Vuelve a compartir.
Ok. Ok, ahí está. Ok, necesitamos maestros que sean vulnerables, maestros que sean transparentes, claros y veraces, que sean capaces de reconocer y corregir sus errores. ¿Ustedes creen que nuestros maestros hoy en día tienen estas habilidades? La verdad es que los niños no aprenden con las palabras, sino con el ejemplo. Y esto sería una maravillosa habilidad para nuestros maestros de hoy en día. Si seguimos haciendo el caminito de las maestrías, tenemos nuestra segunda preciosa maestría, que es percibir, afirmar y expandir el potencial del alumno. Un maestro que sepa identificar las cualidades de nuestros niños, que identifiquen y desafíen sus creencias. Un maestro, a mí me encantarían unos maestros que identifiquen las submodalidades del lenguaje, que puedan identificar si nuestro hijo es visual, es auditivo o es kinestésico y echen mano de todas las herramientas que tienen para hacer que el mensaje llegue y sea retenido por ellos. Eso sería de verdad muy gratificante y sería como el agua para esa semillita que nosotros mandamos al colegio, que son nuestros hijos, nuestros nietos, nuestros sobrinos, nuestros familiares. La maestría número 4 es procesar en el presente. Un maestro que sea capaz de ver sistemática y holísticamente al niño como un todo, procesando la información a nivel de mente, cuerpo, corazón y espíritu cuando esto sea apropiado. En este momento nos encontramos en una conexión entre lo espiritual, que es el trabajo interno que realizan los niños cuando están creciendo y en su aprendizaje, con el trabajo externo, que es lo funcional. Un maestro que sea capaz de expandir la conciencia de nuestros niños para experimentar pensamientos y temas en diferentes áreas según el nivel sea adecuado. Cuando vamos a la maestría número 5, Yo quisiera que nuestra educación cambiara y que los maestros sean capaces de expresar. Un maestro que se comunica a través de un discurso simple y creíble. ¿Ustedes creen que esto es mucho pedir? Yo pienso que no. Y yo sé que ustedes están de acuerdo conmigo. El maestro tiene que estar atento y consciente de cómo comunica la información, con compromiso, con dirección, con intención y confirmando la efectividad de esta comunicación a través de la retroalimentación con los niños. Cuando avanzamos a nuestro cambio, que es un gran sueño que yo tengo, el cambio de la educación, y avanzamos a la maestría número 6, clarificar. Queremos maestros que sean capaces de eliminar la confusión o incertidumbre. Esos maestros que no dejen las tareas más difíciles para casa, donde probablemente no están unos padres capacitados o no son docentes o sencillamente no tienen el tiempo o la pedagogía para explicar a sus hijos estas tareas. Esto sin duda incrementaría la compasión y la comprensión, la confianza de los niños, porque sabrían que en el colegio tienen todo lo que necesitan a nivel de aprendizaje. Cuando avanzamos a la maestría número 7, apoyar al estudiante a establecer y mantener propósitos claros. Obviamente ustedes, los que conocen las maestrías, saben que les he hecho una adaptación a los títulos, porque es la idea, promover un cambio educativo. Y cuando estamos en la maestría número 7, yo quiero maestros que estén analizando junto al niño la situación actual de estos, junto al resultado que ellos esperan, porque sabemos que los maestros tienen un cronograma de trabajo, tienen que cumplir objetivos, pero tienen que estar de acuerdo niños y maestros, de acuerdo a las capacidades de estos y generar un plan de acción. Invitar a la posibilidad. Es la maestría número 8 y creo que esta es la que realmente más me apasiona, porque queremos maestros que planteen las preguntas para realzar el proceso de descubrimiento, creando un ambiente que permita que surjan ideas, opciones y oportunidades. ¿Y qué es lo que pasa con esto? No está mal tener empleados, por supuesto que todos los países necesitan empleados, pero ¿qué pasa con la creatividad de los niños cuando no tienen esa invitación a la posibilidad? ¿Qué pasa cuando los estructuran y los sistematizan en un molde y les dicen tienes que hacer esto así? Y empiezan a apagar toda su creatividad. Eso yo quisiera que cambie. Yo sueño con un mundo en donde cada niño pueda descubrir quién es, qué es lo que quiere ser, cuáles son sus talentos, sus habilidades. Y yo estoy segura que capacitando a los maestros en esta arte de nuestras maravillosas maestrías, que son el legado de Thomas Leonard, yo creo que lo podemos conseguir. Y por último tenemos la maravillosa maestría número 9, que es respaldar al estudiante a crear y utilizar sistemas y estructuras de apoyo. Aquí yo quisiera que los maestros actúen creativamente, ayudando al niño con todos estos sistemas y estructuras para avanzar y hacer sostenible su progreso. Conseguir las metas a través de un plan estructurado. No se trata de decirle a los niños qué hacer, se trata de dejarlos ser creativos, seguir sus instintos y guiarlos, ser unos acompañantes para nuestros hijos. Y ahora me hago una gran pregunta que me encantaría que ustedes me la respondan en el chat. ¿Acaso no todos los maestros deberían manejar las 9 maestrías de Thomas Leonard y nuestras maestrías de la IAC? ¿Qué opinan ustedes? Me encantaría leer sus sí o sus no en el chat. Yo pienso que la educación puede cambiar definitivamente porque este es el agua que necesitan esas semillas, que necesitan nuestros hijos, que necesitan nuestra educación. Aquí estoy leyendo sí, sí, yes, sí. De verdad que yo les traje este tema hoy porque yo quiero que seamos más. Yo sueño con un cambio en la educación y yo me pregunto, ¿es que acaso es solo mi sueño o es un sueño colectivo? Yo quiero pensar que es un sueño colectivo. Mi corazón late fuertemente con la sola imagen de que esto pueda ser una realidad. Si todos los maestros fueran certificados con nuestras maestrías y guiaran su enseñanza basándose en esto, la educación que reciben nuestros hijos sería muy diferente. Digamos que unos maestros coaches serían esa agua para esas semillitas que son nuestras pequeñas plantas, nuestros hijos, nuestros nietos, nuestros sobrinos, los niños del mundo. Y salto a la otra parte de la educación, en este cambio que yo quiero que juntos los gestemos, porque yo sé que yo solita no puedo, por eso estoy aquí con ustedes, con mi familia IAC, con todos nuestros grandes invitados, y vengo a hablar de la educación y la inteligencia emocional. Todos hemos escuchado acerca de la inteligencia emocional, y yo quiero pensar que este es el CO2 o el oxígeno que necesitan esas semillitas que son nuestros hijos. Ya tenemos el agua con las maestrías. Ahora la inteligencia emocional vendría a ser ese oxígeno que necesitamos para que nuestros hijos logren sus objetivos. La inteligencia emocional no es más que la administración de sus propias emociones, el manejo y la gestión. Vamos a decir que gestionar nuestras emociones, conocerlas. Unos maestros que puedan enseñar inteligencia emocional pudieran detener el bullying, que es un tema bien álgido que nos preocupa a todos, a mí especialmente como mamá inmigrante, que vivo en Estados Unidos, que mi hijo es venezolano y que siempre se ven las diferencias. Entonces yo aporto el tema de la inteligencia emocional y me aboco a invitarlos a todos a que utilicemos la inteligencia emocional, a que entrenemos a nuestros maestros, a que nos entrenemos nosotros, porque nosotros también somos parte de la creación de esos niños y de la educación y del crecimiento. Les quería compartir dos citas breves, una de Lev Vygotsky, que sostenía que los niños desarrollan su aprendizaje mediante la interacción social, van adquiriendo nuevas y mejores habilidades cognitivas como proceso lógico de su inmersión a un modo de vida. Y aquí es donde hace parte el entorno y el ambiente, y no solamente son los maestros, no solamente es el ambiente en la casa, sino que ellos son un todo integral. La educación, decía Skinner, es lo que sobrevive cuando lo que se ha aprendido ya se ha olvidado. Esto es muy importante, quiero que lo recuerden. La educación es lo que sobrevive cuando lo que se ha aprendido ya se ha olvidado. Entonces la educación es algo integral, la educación no son solo conocimientos, no es solo teoría, es la vida, es lo que ellos van a experimentar como seres humanos. Y aquí tengo mi lámina final, que me encanta que la vean, porque yo siento que nuestros hijos son justamente esas semillitas. Allí están los niños y los adolescentes que inician su educación. Luego tenemos la formación de coaching para maestros, que esta es mi propuesta de hoy para ustedes. Esa sería el agua que regaría esa semillita. Tenemos la inteligencia emocional, que sería ese CO2 o ese aire para fomentar una mejor educación. Y por último, y no menos importante, tenemos el bienestar en la familia, tenemos nosotros que ser cada día mejores para que seamos esa luz solar que ilumine la vida de nuestros hijos. Necesitamos niños y adolescentes felices y capaces. Esa es una nueva perspectiva educativa que yo vengo soñando desde hace muchos años y que yo sé que con la ayuda de todos ustedes esto puede ser posible, porque los niños son la generación del mañana y necesitamos trabajar de la mano y divulgar y hacer cada día más conocida estas maestrías para que todos seamos mejores y tengamos mejores niños. Muchas gracias.
Wow, Christina, thank you. Thank you so much for expanding our thinking regarding the 9 masteries and education. You know, I have to say, as a former educator, you have an out-of-the-box thinking. And as a former educator, I can see how the 9 masteries and education is a perfect combination, addressing what we need for social, emotional learning and emotional intelligence. So hopefully we've latched on to this and we can help to transfer that information to those that are willing to listen and even willing to change. So thank you so much, very much. Being in the present, taking off our costumes, being honest and discovering ourselves, the good, the bad, the ugly, infusing the 9 masteries in education, all these things would help us in the growth of our children and our futures. This will foster healthy mental health. Thank you, Christina, Josephine, and Daniela for imparting seeds of knowledge and understanding for change, growth, and action. I'm empowered. I don't know about all of you, but I am definitely empowered, and I thank you so much. Join me in thanking our speakers right now. Hey, yes, woohoo! I loved it, and I hope you did too. Thank you so very much. Now I want to turn things over to our AIC USA chapter president, Leo Gerlino. Thank you, ladies. You were awesome. Awesome.
Wow, awesome. Thank you very much. Before saying anything else, please, I ask everybody to open your screen, your camera, and Osvaldo will take a picture of all the group. Please open your camera. Thank you for being here, Angeli. Thank you, Nail. She's my wife. Thank you, Lou. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Don't go away. Just smile for the photo, and I'll speak after that. Osvaldo? I lost Osvaldo. Did you talk the photograph?
Talla 2.
It's okay. Wow. Alan, Carola, Bertin, Rosalba, Jennifer, Marta, my good friend Marta. Okay. I hope you have enjoyed these speeches as much as I did. It was awesome. I want to thank you, our wonderful speakers, for their pertinent speech. And thanks to all those who have joined us today. We invite you all to our next learning circle, which will be on Wednesday, June 15th. You remember that it would be a learning circle every 3rd Wednesday every month. Please join us and follow us on the networks. Our page is www.certifiedcoach.org. Please have a good day, and you can write to send in questions. We are almost out of time, but I have to thank you. Thank you. Bye.
the International Association of Coaching. Home of the coaching masteries.